Alright, this is Johnny over here back here at Hot Rods and videoing this, or editing this video. I noticed it didn't have, like, an intro, I guess you could say, or an ending to it. So I thought I'd do a little quick intro. Here's old Sketch. I'll get to this video right quick, and then I'll make a little ending to it and kind of describe what all we have already done to it since this video was recorded, and we'll go from there. So it's snowing out here, so I'm gonna go inside and look at some stuff, and then I'll come back out and do an exit to this video and get it finished up. Okay, it's gonna be a little hard to see everything in here because it's so cramped in this little garage. What we got here is the truck, my personal pickup. It's a 85 model step side. It didn't start life out as a step side. It was a fleet side when I bought it. There's some old videos of me putting a stock 6.0 in this truck back. I don't know. You'd have to look back through that. It's 2 or 3 years ago. This is what, February of 2022 right now. So it's been a couple years since I did that. I put a stock 6.0 in it, stock 4L60, set of speed engineering headers. I drove it around for quite a while. I built my own motor mounts for it and everything. Drove around for a while, had a lot of fun with it, just doing burnouts and being silly with it. I had the stock 10 bolt 308 geared rear end in it. It's come a long way since then. I've been over the years just doing little things here and there. One of the main problems I had with it originally was the chassis was a POS. It was junk. And I've changed quite a bit of stuff on it. I've actually even changed the cab. So it can hardly be called the same truck, but it is. Or to me it is. So what we got is 85 cab with and now it's got a 87 step side bed on it and a 91 Suburban front end, or well, dually front end, which same thing, Suburban dually, all the same. I went ahead and put some roll pans on it, front and rear. I took the cowl induction hood off because it never fit right. It was kind of flimsy. I put a stock hood back on it. I really kind of think it looks better with the stock hood anyway, especially the way I got it. I do want to take the roll pans off and put bumpers back on it. I thought I'd like it more than I do, but I think I want to put the factory style chrome bumpers in front and rear. But that's besides the point. It's come a long way. Built a set of Caltrack style traction bars for the rear. We built them in-house. Nowadays the steel and everything's getting so high that I wouldn't do it again. I'd probably just buy a set of Caltracks from now on. In fact, I did buy a set of Caltracks, and I tried them on this truck, and my homemade Caltracks work just as good as the actual Caltracks, although I hadn't put the homemade ones back on it because it's just extra work for no reason. I'll save them for another project. It when it had the stock 6.0 in it, we put a 150 shot of nitrous on it, tore up transmission, built a stronger transmission, put it back in there, got all that taken care of. It ran really, really good. Then when I decided to change the cab, because the other cab had bad cab corners and had some other little problem areas with the cab, I decided to change the cab. When I came up with this one, I give, like, I don't even remember, I think $200 for the whole truck that this cab came off of. It was a long bed, and it didn't have a straight body panel on it except for that door. So we went ahead and put most of the stuff I had on the old truck back on, because I had already changed the bed and I'd already changed the front end. Went ahead and got, let's see if we can get some light on here. Yeah, there's some light. Already did the interior to what I like. I like everything blacked out. Got pretty cool diamond tuck headliner. Found this old seat in Wichita Falls, Texas for like $200. It was already done. Just kind of got lucky. Found it on Marketplace. My wife did the dash cover and help me do the door panels and stuff. And then we matched this inlay to the console here and the top here. We did all that. That was like wood grain. You know, it is wood, so they had just like varnished the wood and made it look cool, which I didn't like it so much, so I blacked it out. You're not going to be able to see anything but the brackets because I don't have the bottle in it, but the bottle fits right here. You can see the line. So sitting in the driver's seat, just reach your hand back there, open the bottle, come on over here, arm the nitro switch, and you're ready to go because it's throttle actuated. Anyway, I repainted the interior black. These door panels were red. We went through and painted them black. Dyed them. Really, I just painted them with a really good paint. Did the same thing with the dash. Dash has one small crack in the top, so I wanted to preserve it as much as I can. Has all the factory gauges in it, and they all work except for the speedometer. I don't really need a tack in this because of the way I got it tuned to shift. I didn't tune this one. I had a guy over in Wichita Falls tune it. His name is Ryan Lewis. Any of you local guys, you need a good tune on a truck, street tune, he does a really good job. And I'd send anybody to him. I was extremely happy with this truck. I had it close, but I just could not get it dialed in. And I've learned a lot since then. But yeah, truck gang. Anyway, so most of it is still the same truck. The frame is not, and the cab is not, and this door is not. The rest of it is still the same truck, well, in the hood. Then I changed the rear end. I had a 12-bolt Positrack that I've had forever. It's got the factory GM Positrack in it, or limited slip, whatever you want to call it. It's still the same thing to me. So it's got the factory style, or the factory 12-bolt out of like a 77, I believe. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I know it was a 77. I put Mosier axles in it, and then I did my own disc brake setup. I'll try, when I get this back on the lift, I'll try and get some stuff together for that. So, when I pulled the cab off and did all that, I decided I wanted to do a little bit beefier engine, nothing special. So we took the stock LQ4 out of it, freshened it up. The block was in really good shape. Got a set of the floating rods, the ones with the floating wrist pin bushings in them. Put ARP rod bolts in them. Got a stock replacement piston. I believe it's an Engine Tech piston. The flat tops that come in the LQ9s. So it's basically an LQ9 now. It still has the 317 heads. I had a machine shop over in Wichita Falls. Go through there, DNL Performance over in Wichita Falls. If you're a local guy, you've probably heard of them. If not, I'll try to put their description or their phone number and Ryan's phone number also in the description here, if I remember to do that. But anyway, so it's got an LQ9 in it now. Basically, we gapped the rings to handle more nitrous or boost, because I was always planning on boosting this thing later on down the road. Now it still has the old 150 shot on it. Nothing's changed there. It's basically a stock LQ9 other than a mild cam in it. It's got it's an Elgin cam. A lot of people call it the sloppy stage 3. It's that Elgin cam. I have no secrets. I don't care what anybody knows what I got in my truck. I'm not out for competition, and we do go racing and have fun with it. On the spray with these Hoosier slicks, They're a drag radial. On the spray with drag radials on it and all. My best time so far is about an 820, 830. I'm using a Draggy app, so I don't really know exactly, and I may be wrong, it may be off. It is going to go back on the track under nitrous powered. I'm doing the hot side of this because here just about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I've hooked up the line lock on it, got it all working, and went on a full send burnout and slung the drive shaft out of it and tore up the transmission. So I built a new transmission for it, put it in, waiting on the drive shaft. It's going to be probably another, well, I might have it by the end of this week, but I doubt it. We've had some bad weather and this and that, and the place that's making my drive shaft didn't answer the phone for 2 days, so I'm pretty sure they were closed. So anyway, I probably will have the drive shaft like middle of next week. So I hadn't put the old headers back on it since we pulled everything, and I went ahead and pulled this engine out and went through it again just to make sure everything was good. I have been spraying it with 150 shot, which I know everybody says, oh yeah, they'll live just fine with a 150 shot. You don't have to do nothing to them, and so far they're right. Where was I? So anyway, what I want to do right now, I'm just looking to do the hot side of the turbo setup and just kind of get it mocked up since I don't have the long tube headers on it. I want to try to get this mocked up just because I already had all this stuff. I've had it for a couple years now. I just never got around to messing with it. Truck's already down. It won't take me long to fool with this. So we're only going to set up the hot side of it for now. And then I'm going to go ahead and take all this crap off. Put the, because I don't have everything I need to finish the turbo setup. I don't have intercooler stuff and all that. And right now, it's just one of those deals that I don't really want to spend any money on this right now. I've got other things going on. And I just want to fix my truck and get it back on the street. It's a really good daily driver. It runs great. I drive it everywhere. I did a flip kit on the rear myself when it was the old, these are the springs, these are the rear springs and flip kit and everything out of the old truck. I just put this rear end in it. This is the whole front suspension setup out of the old truck. The only thing wrong with the old truck was it had a cracked frame. Right, I don't remember where it was. I've still got it, but I don't remember which side it was. Anyway, it's cracked right behind the motor mount on one of the sides. I can't remember which. And then the spring pocket on the driver's side was bent. I think they probably jumped the damn thing or something. But so it never set level. It always leaned to the front left corner real hard, and I did everything in the world I could think of to try. So when we finally got it where it was level, I had actually put a taller spring on this side and a shorter spring on that side just to get it to sit level. And of course it rode like crap, and I just got tired of it. So I did all this, put all this suspension under this truck because it was already all rebuilt. I had already put on the bushings and ball joints and all that in it, tie rods, all that stuff. And the gearbox that was on this frame was locked up, so I had to pull the gearbox off the other one and put it on here and all that stuff. I have the steering column out of the other one. Anyway, that's where we're at. This is a really good running truck. I really love the way it drives. I am wanting to get away from the nitrous eventually and I've been wanting to do a turbo setup forever. But I don't know if you guys watch my channel, you know that I'm also working on another truck, the same body style. It's a 77, but I redid the firewall, and it looks like a 81 to 87. But anyway, it's a 77 pickup that I chopped the top 5 inches on, and I've got a lot more chassis work done to it than I do this truck. So I don't want to spend a lot of money on this truck. I want to keep it fairly simple, but I do want to boost it. I've been wanting to boost it forever. Ever since I first started messing with it, I was going to just boost the stock 6.0, but I love the cam sound, and to be honest, the only reason I went with the Elgin cam is mostly for the lope and the sound. It sounds like a freaking beast pulling out of here. It sounds like a beast on the street. It gave it probably 60 horsepower over the stock 6.0, so it's not a night and day difference, but it sounds cooler. With the converter in it, it brings the RPM up faster. It's just a really good running truck. I've been happy with it for a long time. Keep tearing it up and fixing it, tearing it up, fixing it. The old 10-bolt rear end had bad spider gears in it, so I just welded them up, make it live for a while until I got this rear end finished. So, you know, it's just one of those things. Everything here and there. I even have the air conditioning working. Right now I've got since I pulled the engine out, I have the hoses and all tied up or taped up. I got to put them back on, but this thing got heat and AC, and gonna have cruise control soon. This cab actually has the cruise control setup. I'm gonna put it on there, but I'll keep all this going. I'm gonna make a video of kind of where our current situation is, but right now this video is more about the hot side on the turbo and how I'm doing it, because when I go to do the turbo setup, I'll want to show what I did today and what I'm gonna do this week, and I'll save this video for when we do the turbo setup, so that at least that part will be done too. And I'll probably repeat everything I just said about this truck when I do a video of getting this truck back on the road with the nitro setup, because it is going to go to the strip this year. I do want to put my daughter in it and let her drag race it, so it's going to the strip this year. Finally put it on a drag strip, 8th mile drag strip, and actually see what it really does with light, you know, tripping the beams, and not just a little app on my phone or whatever. Anyway, that's where we're at. You guys are awesome. I've had lots of compliments on my videos, mostly on my Facebook page, but still, I've had lots of compliments and stuff, and I appreciate you guys watching. This is probably not the end of this video, but I still want to say I appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, or later on in this same video, we'll catch up. Alright, so what I did here was I cut this flange off almost, you know, just right out where it's a smooth 3-inch. So it comes out and it's right when it starts to turn to 3-inch. That put me behind my belt line here. I didn't care about that so much as where I'm going to position this. I can't hold it up with one hand and hold the camera. But basically, it's going to sit right in here, about 2 inches higher. Right here, the exhaust housing is going to sit about 2 inches higher. But anyway, you get the idea. So we'll go over here to the other side. I don't have the other side quite mocked up. It's close. I have to take the battery tray out, so we're not going to be able to run the battery up front. We'll put the battery in the rear. But I cut this flange off a little longer, but that's because this header sits farther back because of the position of the exhaust ports. The headers are exact same length and everything. They line up perfectly from the factory. But, excuse me, but that makes this header stick farther back because of the port location on the heads. So on the exhaust side of the head, the port's farther back on the driver's side and farther forward over there on the passenger's side. So that moves it back, I think like 1.5 or 2 inches, and then on that side it moves it forward 1.5, 2 inches from center line, from like they're not centered. So or maybe there's 1.5 inches difference between the two sides. I don't remember. But anyway, that's the reason to cut. So what I wanted to do is, it's hard to see, but I wanted to get this flange and that flange, where the cut point, I wanted to get them almost parallel, or as close as I could get it by just kind of eyeballing it. I just kind of eyeballed it and stuck a straight edge across there and kind of did it that way. So I cut the V-band flange off of both of them. I don't really see a need for a V-band flange. I think it'd just be one extra place to leak. I have this one just tacked on for right now. I think I'm going to make some kind of brace to hold this up for right now, and spacer or whatever, and get it kind of tacked in. I took this pipe and had it on the other side as well, and it's going to work out like I want it to on both sides. So I can take this turbo and put it over there, but the housing is pointing straight up instead of straight down. The outlet housing, charge side housing, whatever you want to call it. But the hot side housing, it faces. So anyway, basically I can take this and put it on the other side, and it's real close. The battery tray's in my way, so I'm going to have to take it out and where I can get it lower so I can take. And I'm trying to get this as close to mirrored. Of course I can't mirror it because on the hot side of the turbo, this side will be on the bottom, this flange will be on the bottom of the turbo, and that flange will be on the top of the turbo. So and the same with the outlet. The outlet on that side will be at the bottom, and the outlet on this side will be on the top. Because I'm not going to have it pointing straight down. I just left it alone for right now, but they're actually going to point towards the throttle body. And I'm not going to run an air-to-air cooler, or at least I don't really know yet. I hadn't made up my mind. But I really don't want to run an air-to-air cooler. I want to run air-to-water, and I'm thinking I'm going to use the inline intercoolers off of both turbos that are only about 8 inches or so long. So I'll run a 3-inch into that, and then I'll have an intercooler on each side, the water intercooler on each side. They're only about 5 inches or so square. They have a 3-inch inlet and a 5-inch square housing, and they're about like I say, about 8 inches long, maybe 10 inches long, something like that. I hadn't ordered any yet, so I don't really know exactly how I'm going to set that up yet. Kind of wanting to just get the hot side done first. So anyway, they'll go into the intercoolers, come out of the intercoolers, Y into a single inlet, and go into the throttle body. So that's the plan. And then I want to run the exhaust pipe right down through here on this side. I barely got enough room to do that, because I do want to run mufflers on it. It's going to be a daily driver still. It's a daily driver now. I continue to want it to be a daily driver. The same with the other side. I plan on running the exhaust right through there. It's hard to see, but there's actually room between those two primaries to run it down and out. It won't run as far back as the other, so the other side's got to run real far back. This side will run a little farther forward and down, and then back towards the back of the truck. Probably just going to run like a 3-inch exhaust. I know coming out of the turbo you need as much exhaust pipe as you can get, but alright, so I got the passenger side mocked up. Made some marks here that we could go by whenever I tacked this part on. I already had it kind of cut and figured out about where I wanted it. So I tacked this part on to the flange, and then I held it up there and got Austin to help me mark it so I could take it all off and tack it again without the weight on it and all, just so I could get a better tack on it and all. So anyway, got the first one set up. I think I'm going to try to go, I think I'm going to try to take that outlet and go right down through there between the frame rail and the header and run it out that way. I'm only going to put 3-inch exhaust on. I know everybody's going to ridicule me because I don't have a big enough exhaust on this, but I'm only going to put 3-inch exhaust on. It's going to be a street truck, daily driven. So I don't really plan on trying to fit 4-inch exhaust or go out and put the hater pipe out the fender or anything like that. I don't want it so loud. I can't stand to drive it. So anyway, that's side A. Now we got to work on side B. So all I'm using is 3-inch stainless U-bend, and what I do is just cut the center out of it. That way I got a good nice radius, and put it where I want it. Now this one, you can't really tell, I don't think you can anyway, in the video. This one comes around, but it also kind of goes down, because this, you know, turbos, they're not mirrored. So this one, the inlet will be on the bottom, and on this one, the inlet will be on the top. So when I do this one, it'll come around and do the same little curve, but it'll go up instead of down. Like that one goes, well, you can kind of tell from this angle. That one goes down. Let me move this hose. It's not. Oops. So you can kind of tell from that angle how it goes down. It doesn't go down a bunch, maybe 20 or 30 degrees at the most. And its clearance, it's got plenty of clearance on the fender well here. Let me get my hand under it. I know that's not going to work because it's too heavy. You know, it'll break the header and the welds. The turbo's so heavy. So, but that gives me plenty of room to, you know, build me a brace and something to hold it up. After I get everything else kind of mocked up, I can build me a brace and set it where I want it. And instead, I thought about building the brace and mounting the turbo where I wanted it first, and then try to make this work. But I think it's easier to do since I don't have a way to bend this pipe or anything. I don't want to do like the little pie cut crap and all that. I want it as nice and smooth as I can get it. So I thought I'd do the pipe first and then build the braces. That'll be pretty easy to build the braces where I need them instead of where I want them. So anyway, that's where we're at. Got the battery tray out of the other side. Now I can start setting that one up and mocking it up. Kind of hard to do with just me here. So I'm working on it slowly. I'm in no hurry. This is in the evening, and I'm just kind of bored anyway, as this is what I like to do. So we'll get this part mocked up. I won't be able to do any video or anything on it. I'll just have to show you the kind of end result. So we'll get this part mocked up and go from there. Alright, so there it is, all tacked up. Gonna have to clock it just a little bit because, you know, our oil port's kind of at an angle and that's pointing down. And anyway, I'm gonna have to clock that one too, a little bit different. I already clocked it where the oil port is, the feed is up on top and the drain is on bottom, but it's off at an angle too, and I want them flat. Anyway, other than that, it's mocked up. We'll probably just put the wastegate right in here, you know, somewhere in here. I'll just figure out where I want to dump it, and then I'll kind of fit it wherever I want to dump it. The wastegates will just be dumped straight down. Probably cut a hole big enough in the fender well and just dump them straight to the ground. Same on this side. Yeah, but other than that, yeah, it's coming along. I'm pretty stoked about that. That looks pretty cool. Get back far enough, and it looks kind of wicked like that. I'm not going to fully weld it because I may have to change it. I'm going to need to get the exhaust flange adapter here and run my 3-inch down there. See if I can even do it, because if I can't run it like that, then I may have to back up and punt. And I originally thought about doing a rear mount turbo setup on this since it was a street truck, but that's so much plumbing and all that stuff that and this looks cooler than turbos mounted in the bed or whatever. But I kind of want it to look, you know, unassuming on the outside, just looked like a junky old truck driving down the road. And that's, of course, the reason for mufflers and all that. Well, that's not the only reason for mufflers. I want to be able to stand to drive it too. I don't want something I can't stand to drive because it's too damn loud. But anyway, yeah, enough about all that bullshit. Here we are. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Looks good to me. And we'll continue on.